Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. I'm reading from the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I am in Luke chapter 14. Jesus heals on the Sabbath. One Sabbath day, Jesus went to eat dinner in the home of a leader of the Pharisees, and the people were watching him closely. There was a man there whose arms and legs were swollen. Jesus asked the Pharisees and the experts in the religious law, "Is it permitted in the law to heal people on Sabbath day or not?" Then they refused to answer. Jesus touched the sick man and healed him and sent him away. Then he turned to them and said, "Which of you doesn't work on the Sabbath? If your son or your cow falls into a pit, don't you rush and get him out?" Again, they did not answer. Over and over, the Pharisees had tried to trap Jesus in this paradox because, according to their laws, it was not permitted to heal people on the Sabbath. But how silly, Jesus pointed out, how silly would it be if you had a son or a cow or someone in your family that had fallen into a pit? Wouldn't you get them out on the Sabbath? Jesus might not have had another opportunity to heal this man. Back then, they didn't have telephones and internet. People didn't make appointments with Jesus by email to get healed. If you saw someone while you were traveling, you might not ever see them again. Of course, there are people that, saw Jesus when he was traveling and they followed him. But how would this man ever get to see Jesus again? He might not have ever had another opportunity to be healed. And here he had a very miserable condition where it's called, modern day is called dropsy. It's very painful. He was there suffering. And the Pharisees probably brought him in to the dinner and put him there for Jesus to see how badly he was hurting. They were using that man with dropsy as bait so they could turn around and point out the hypocrisy of Jesus. And Jesus turned around and pointed out that he compassionately healed the man and sent him on his way, and proved that what they were doing was hypocrisy. It's okay to have rules to follow, but when those rules overrule any kind of compassion for another human being, then those rules are wrong. I have a bachelor's degree in criminology. The laws were made to have a spirit of the law because there are all kinds of situations people can get into. And that's why we have judges, to make rulings about the spirit of the law, because there become these gray areas. But let me continue to read. When Jesus noticed all who had come into the dinner were trying to sit in seats of honor near the head of the table, he gave them this advice: "When you are invited to a wedding feast, don't sit in the seat of honor. What if someone who is more distinguished than you has also been invited? The host will come and say, 'Give this person your seat.' Then you will be embarrassed and you will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Instead, take the lowest place at the foot of the table, and then when your host sees you, he will come and say, "Friend, we have a better place for you." Then you will be honored at the front of the other guests. For those who exalted themselves will be humbled, and those who humbled themselves will be exalted. Then he turned to the host. When you put on a luncheon or a banquet, he said, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors, for they will invite you back, and that will be your only reward. Instead, invite the poor and the crippled, the lame and the blind. When at the time of resurrection of the righteousness, God will reward you for inviting those who could not repay you. So, a lot of this corporate gift giving and parties from work, all of these kinds of things, even if you have a party in your house for people from your church or neighborhood, a lot of this occurs because people do expect reciprocity. When you give a birthday gift to somebody in your family, you kind of expect to get a birthday gift back on your birthday, right? So you're not doing it completely out of the kindness or goodness of your heart. It's tradition that family members get birthday gifts on their birthday. So you know you're getting a gift back. Usually, when you go to a Christmas party and they're giving out gifts, you know you're going to get one, and you buy one to give someone in return. You might just have to buy one because you're having a white elephant gift kind of thing. And everybody brings a gift and leaves with a gift. But what if you went to that party knowing nobody was going to buy you anything? And if you came to that party every month and somebody was given a gift from you, but when it came to your birthday or your child's birthday, you didn't get a gift back, you'd be insulted. But what kind of person are you? I mean, it would be wrong not to gift you back in that situation because that's what is expected in our society. But at the same time, as Christians, we're to be givers and we're supposed to be forgiving. So, the best course of action is just not say anything and go on, because the moment you say something, you're the bad guy. That's kind of how it works. So we need to go through life really not expecting reciprocity. But at the same time, unless it's a situation where I am having a dinner for people that have no way to repay me, if I'm having a dinner with people that I expect will invite me to a dinner later, I do kind of expect that, you know. But it's hard when that sort of thing doesn't happen. It's hard not to say anything because you should be given reciprocity and giving to your peers. Um, so you can have a charity banquet and nobody's going to pay you back. Nobody that's attending has the ability to pay you back. And that's how it goes. Do you want to be a charitable person or not? Go ahead. Have your parties with your peers, your neighbors, the people that can pay you back. But every once in a while, there was this lady. She was, I drove through McDonald's and she was sitting there and she said, Can you buy me a biscuit for breakfast? She wanted money from me. So I took 2 items and a drink and gave that to her. And she seemed really pleased. A lot of times I've given people food out of my car when they've asked for money and they seem unhappy because they want to spend that money on things that they probably shouldn't, like drugs or alcohol or cigarettes. And that's not okay. You don't want to enable people to destroy themselves. So, she was right there at the table at the end of the drive-through. So I gave her food because I thought, well, I can go back around. I didn't. I just went on my way and ate the remainder of the food I had left, and it was okay. And I felt really good about helping her. And she asked me to pray for her. And I did. And I had my Sunday school class pray for her. And, I was there this morning and I was like, she wasn't there. Because I had a plan in mind of what I was going to do if she was there, what I was going to give her again. But she wasn't there. So I hope I see her again and I'm able to give her something. I mean, even if I don't have food, maybe a little piece of jewelry or money, because she didn't seem, since she accepted the food so happily, she didn't seem disappointed that I didn't give her cash. So I think she just really is needy and not an alcoholic or a drug addicted person, or a person that's there to collect money to pay their Mercedes payment. I think she was genuinely needy and without addictions. I mean, we're all addicted to food, right? So, anyway, Jesus said, invite people into your life and give to people that can't repay you. And he was kind, loving, and gentle, while at the same time, these Pharisees were trying to trip him up. And he knew. He was God. He knew that they were going to eventually set up a course of events where he would die. Yet he was kind and gentle to them and gave them advice. What a friend we have in Jesus. It's a wonderful song. I'll put a link to that song in the description of this video so you all can enjoy that song and just think about just this one situation where Jesus was loving and kind and gave advice to these men that were trying to destroy him. Have a wonderful and blessed day.